When Netflix unveiled the first official teaser for The Witcher Season 4, expectations were sky high. Fans had waited for months to see how Liam Hemsworth would take over the iconic role of Geralt of Rivia after Henry Cavill's shocking departure. But what was meant to be a bold new beginning turned into a public backlash that even Netflix couldn't ignore. The teaser, lasting just under a minute, opens with sweeping visuals: misty swamps, an ancient crypt, and a lone figure walking through the shadows. The music is haunting, the atmosphere heavy, and the tension sharp. Then, as the figure steps into the light, fans finally see the new Geralt. No dialogue, no words, only silence and a single reveal that was supposed to speak volumes. But the reaction was immediate and brutal. Within hours, the teaser's YouTube page became a battlefield. Thousands of dislikes piled up faster than likes, and the comment section turned into a wall of criticism. "This isn't the Geralt we wanted." "Netflix, stop destroying what we love." "Don't blame Liam, blame the showrunners." These weren't isolated reactions. They were an avalanche. What stood out most was the pattern. Fans were angry, but not necessarily at Liam Hemsworth. They saw him as a soldier stepping into a war he didn't start. The real frustration, they said, was with Netflix and the creative team. For years, the fandom has accused the producers of drifting too far from Andrzej Sapkowski's original books, the very soul of the Witcher universe. Henry Cavill's portrayal was seen as faithful, grounded, and deeply connected to the source material. When Cavill left after Season 3, fans took it as a sign of deeper trouble: creative conflicts, lost vision, and a leadership team ignoring the lore. So when the teaser dropped, it wasn't just about a new actor. It was about everything fans believed had already gone wrong. Social media erupted with memes, comparisons, and long posts dissecting every frame. Some praised Hemsworth's effort, noting that his build and presence fit Geralt's rugged image. But most couldn't look past the history, the show's past missteps, confusing storylines, and lack of consistency. To them, the teaser felt like a mask, trying to cover cracks that had already split the foundation. One comment summed it up perfectly: "The problem isn't The Witcher's face, it's The Witcher's soul, and Netflix has lost it." As the backlash grew, entertainment blogs and fan pages picked up the storm. Headlines shouted about the fan revolt and the meltdown over Geralt's new look. But underneath the noise, a clearer story began to form. Audiences no longer trusted Netflix with The Witcher. The teaser was supposed to rebuild excitement, to reignite passion, but instead, it reopened old wounds. Many fans felt that Netflix had turned a masterpiece of dark fantasy into a franchise chasing trends, cutting corners, and abandoning heart. Even more striking was how united the community became. Across forums, longtime fans and new viewers shared the same frustration. They weren't just angry, they were disappointed. They felt unheard, as if their loyalty meant nothing. The teaser wasn't a new beginning. It was a reminder of promises broken. Cavill's exit still loomed large in their minds, and for many, no new face could erase the sense that the magic had faded. And yet, a small part of the fandom tried to stay hopeful. They argued that Hemsworth deserved a chance, that judgment should wait until the full season aired. But their voices were drowned out by a wave of skepticism. Fans pointed to previous missteps: the disastrous Blood Origin spin-off, the confusing tone shifts, and the creative decisions that seemed to ignore what made the world of The Witcher special in the first place. "We've given them enough chances," one fan wrote. "They don't listen. They just double down." This first look, meant to be a triumphant reveal, ended up confirming what many already feared: that The Witcher was no longer the series they fell in love with. Instead of building excitement, the teaser became a symbol of a franchise on the edge, struggling to win back trust it may never regain. To understand why the backlash against The Witcher Season 4 teaser hit so hard, you have to go back to the moment the foundation began to crack: the day Henry Cavill announced his departure. For millions of fans, Cavill wasn't just an actor. He was Geralt of Rivia. His performance in the first 3 seasons defined the tone, the strength, and the quiet depth of the character. But more than his on-screen presence, it was his off-screen dedication that earned the fandom's respect. Cavill repeatedly spoke about his love for Andrzej Sapkowski's books, his desire to keep the adaptation faithful, and his passion for portraying Geralt not just as a warrior, but as a soul scarred by destiny. So when news broke that he was leaving, the fandom didn't see it as a routine casting change. They saw it as a warning sign. Rumors began to spread about creative differences between Cavill and the writers. Some reports claimed that the production team was drifting away from the source material, turning a complex, morally gray world into something more generic. Cavill's exit became the ultimate confirmation of what fans had feared for years, that Netflix no longer understood the heart of The Witcher. His departure was more than the loss of a lead actor. It felt like the loss of the series' compass. So when the teaser for Season 4 arrived, many didn't see a fresh start. They saw a continuation of the mistakes that drove their favorite actor away. That's why the criticism wasn't just emotional. It was deeply personal. Fans felt betrayed, not just by casting choices, but by a pattern of decisions that seemed to disrespect the very story they loved. The franchise once promised a dark, epic saga grounded in Slavic mythology and brutal realism. But with each season, viewers saw more deviations, more modernized storytelling, and more changes that diluted the original tone. By the time Cavill walked away, trust had already begun to crumble. The Season 4 teaser only exposed how fragile that trust had become. In online forums, longtime fans listed their grievances like a record of broken promises. They pointed to characters rewritten, timelines confused, and plots invented from scratch. They mentioned Blood Origin, a spin-off so poorly received that it became a punchline. To them, The Witcher had gone from being a faithful adaptation to a product driven by algorithms, not artistry. The new teaser, with its silent Geralt and moody lighting, felt like an empty shell, style without substance. Some even accused Netflix of using atmospheric visuals to distract from deeper flaws. "You can hide behind fog and shadows," one fan wrote, "but you can't hide from the truth." And yet, despite all this anger, many viewers spared Liam Hemsworth from the worst of it. In comment after comment, people repeated the same message: "Don't blame Liam, blame the showrunners." It became almost a mantra, a way for the community to separate the new actor from the creative decisions behind the scenes. Fans acknowledged the difficulty of stepping into Cavill's boots, especially when those boots are filled with expectation, nostalgia, and disappointment. They saw Hemsworth not as a villain, but as a casualty of a larger problem, a production that lost its way. Still, skepticism lingered. Could Hemsworth bring the same intensity, the same quiet power that defined Cavill's Geralt? Could he command respect not just through action, but through presence? Some were willing to wait and see, but many admitted they no longer cared as much as they once did. The emotional bond had been severed. The magic that once made The Witcher special was fading, and the teaser didn't reignite it. Instead, it served as a reminder of everything that had gone wrong, a haunting echo of what could have been. Critics outside the fandom echoed similar concerns. Media outlets described the teaser as visually impressive but emotionally hollow. Analysts pointed out that Netflix's handling of the franchise mirrored other missteps: rushing production, ignoring fan input, and prioritizing quantity over quality. The company's reputation for adapting beloved stories and then twisting them beyond recognition only fueled the outrage. With The Witcher, fans had hoped for something different, a series that respected its roots. But after 3 uneven seasons, a failed spin-off, and the loss of its most passionate defender, few believed redemption was possible. For many, the teaser became the final straw. It wasn't just a short video, it was a symbol, a visual reminder that Netflix had ignored every warning sign. Instead of listening to criticism and course-correcting, the company seemed to double down on its vision, confident that the brand alone would carry the show. But The Witcher was never just a brand. It was a world built on loyalty, lore, and love. And those things, once broken, are hard to rebuild. Now, as Season 4 looms on the horizon, the question isn't whether Liam Hemsworth can perform, it's whether the series can win back the heart of its audience. Can Netflix restore the soul of The Witcher? Or has the damage already been done? The backlash to the teaser makes one thing clear. Fans are watching, they're judging, and they're no longer forgiving. As the outrage around The Witcher Season 4 teaser spread, the fan community transformed into a storm of sharp analysis and emotional confession. Every frame of the trailer was dissected, slowed down, compared, and debated. Viewers who had once celebrated the series as Netflix's crown jewel were now voicing frustration that felt more like heartbreak than hate. On Reddit threads and YouTube comments, one theme echoed louder than all others: disappointment wrapped in nostalgia. Fans weren't just reacting to what they saw, they were reacting to everything they had lost. The first target of scrutiny was the teaser itself. Many described it as beautiful but soulless. Others called it a trailer that hides more than it reveals. The silence, which Netflix likely intended to build mystery, instead came across as avoidance. Without dialogue, without story clues, fans felt they were being teased without substance, another marketing trick to stir hype without addressing the real issues. The choice to focus on mood rather than meaning backfired. "We don't need fog," one viewer wrote. "We need faith." For a fandom already skeptical, the minimalist reveal felt empty, like an echo in a hollow room. Then came the discussions about Ciri. Played by Freya Allan, Ciri has always been the emotional heart of The Witcher, the child of prophecy, the thread binding Geralt and Yennefer's fates. But the new promotional images shocked many viewers. Fans noticed significant changes in Allan's appearance compared to earlier seasons, and debates quickly erupted. Some claimed the shift made her look older and less aligned with the character's arc. Others speculated about cosmetic enhancements, rumors that spread faster than facts. Whether true or not, the discussion became a lightning rod for frustration. Viewers argued that these visual changes symbolized a deeper problem: inconsistency. Characters didn't just look different, they felt different, as though the soul of the show kept shifting each season. For loyal fans, Ciri represented hope, innocence, and destiny. Altering her image, even slightly, struck a nerve. "She used to embody the prophecy," a commenter wrote. "Now, she looks like a stranger." While some defended the actress and called for restraint, the controversy reinforced a growing sense that the production lacked cohesion. Every element, from casting to costuming, felt like it was drifting further from the vision that first captivated audiences. Amid this tension, old wounds reopened. Viewers recalled Blood Origin, the prequel spin-off that was supposed to expand the Witcher universe. Instead, it became a textbook example of what fans saw as Netflix's arrogance: rewriting lore, sidelining beloved traditions, and delivering a story critics called forgettable. The disappointment was so deep that many declared they would never watch another spin-off. So when news surfaced about The Rats, a planned film centered on a minor gang from Season 3, the reaction was cold. Production troubles in South Africa, whispers of cancellation, and shifting release plans turned anticipation into apathy. Fans compared it to a sinking ship. "Why build another boat," one wrote, "when the flagship is already taking on water?" These past failures haunted the teaser's release. Every new promise from Netflix felt hollow when measured against the history of broken expectations. Instead of seeing The Witcher as an expanding universe, fans began to view it as a series of desperate experiments, each one further proof that the studio no longer understood its own story. Trust, once the franchise's strongest currency, had evaporated. What made the backlash more intense was the contrast between potential and performance. The world of The Witcher, rich with folklore, monsters, and moral complexity, had the ingredients for greatness. Yet fans argued that Netflix kept simplifying it, chasing spectacle over substance. The Season 4 teaser, with its cinematic visuals and mysterious tone, only deepened that suspicion. They think atmosphere can replace authenticity. another fan posted, but no amount of mist can cover a hollow story. Despite the negativity, pockets of optimism persisted. A few voices urged patience, reminding others that teasers are meant to intrigue, not explain. They argued that Hemsworth's Geralt might surprise everyone, that the story could refocus on destiny, sacrifice, and the bond between Geralt and Ciri. But even these hopeful comments were wrapped in caution. "We want to believe," one supporter wrote, "but we've been burned before." As days passed, the numbers told their own story. Engagement soared, but sentiment sank. Videos analyzing the teaser amassed millions of views, yet like-to-dislike ratios revealed overwhelming disapproval. Hashtags criticizing Netflix trended globally. Influencers who once championed the show now spoke of creative decay and a loss of identity. The teaser that should have reignited excitement instead confirmed a narrative that had been growing for years, that The Witcher had become a case study in how to alienate a passionate fan base. What makes this moment pivotal is not just the anger, it's the clarity behind it. Fans know exactly what they want: respect for the source, consistency in storytelling, and a creative team that listens. They're not rejecting change, they're rejecting carelessness. And the louder they speak, the clearer the message becomes. Unless Netflix restores authenticity, no amount of casting, marketing, or visual flair will save The Witcher from itself. Beneath all the noise, one truth has become undeniable. The Witcher Backlash isn't just about one teaser, it's about years of growing mistrust toward Netflix's entire strategy. What started as a streaming empire built on bold stories and daring adaptations has, in the eyes of many fans, become a machine that prioritizes numbers over narratives. And nowhere is that transformation clearer than in the world of The Witcher. When the show first premiered, it was hailed as Netflix's answer to Game of Thrones, a rich, dark fantasy with endless potential. But by season 4, the conversation has shifted. Instead of excitement for the story's future, fans are now asking a harsher question: does Netflix even care about the soul of this franchise anymore? Over the years, the company's approach has followed a pattern: launch with enthusiasm, build hype, and then slowly drift from the essence that drew viewers in. Fans of The Witcher watch this pattern unfold in real time. Each season brought bigger budgets, flashier effects, and more action, but less emotional weight and lore accuracy. The story that once thrived on moral complexity and haunting realism began to feel more like a glossy imitation. Viewers noticed the changes, not just in characters, but in tone, pacing, and purpose. They saw storylines invented from thin air, key arcs compressed or ignored, and themes diluted in favor of spectacle. To them, the teaser for Season 4 was not a new beginning. It was the latest symptom of a deeper illness, a studio chasing attention instead of artistry. What made the situation worse was the sense that Netflix wasn't listening. Every time fans raised concerns about lore deviations, inconsistent writing, or shallow storytelling, they felt dismissed. When Cavill left, many believed it was because those same creative conflicts had finally reached a breaking point. His exit wasn't just an actor leaving a job, it was a respected figure walking away from a vision he could no longer defend. That's why the teaser's silence felt so loud. To fans, it wasn't mystery, it was avoidance. No answers, no reassurance, just a visual montage asking them to trust again, without any sign that lessons had been learned. Meanwhile, Netflix's broader decisions only deepened skepticism. The company poured resources into spin-offs that flopped, greenlit side projects while the main storyline faltered, and cut corners on consistency in favor of expanding the universe. Blood Origin was supposed to be a gift for die-hard fans, a glimpse into the first Witcher's creation, but instead became a punchline, criticized for weak writing and lore violations. Now, with the rats rumored to have stumbled during production, audiences are left wondering if Netflix is learning from its failures, or repeating them on a larger scale. The result is a crisis of confidence. The Witcher's world thrives on depth, destiny, and devotion to detail, but many fans now see Netflix's version as hollow, a commercial product built to fill content quotas. They remember how other franchises collapsed under similar pressure. Stories rushed to meet schedules, not crafted to meet standards. And as the teaser dropped, that pattern seemed to repeat. No meaningful dialogue, no glimpse into the plot, just a mood piece designed to look impressive while saying nothing. To a skeptical audience, that silence spoke volumes. Industry analysts have started to weigh in too. Some argue that Netflix has overextended itself, juggling too many projects while struggling to maintain quality. Others say the company misread its audience, believing that brand recognition and visual effects could replace emotional investment. But fantasy fans are different. They are loyal, detail-oriented, and protective of the worlds they love. They notice every deviation, every missed theme, every forgotten promise. Once that trust is broken, it's almost impossible to repair.